Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Stat Pearson. And today I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legendary Soul and Sword. The man who's very happy that Mitsurugi is returning this year. In a game that's not going to suck unlike the last two. Pika Soul Calibur Mitsu.
There's going to be a lot of games for me to play in like this last third of the month.
I was going to say, it's fucking near the end of the year. Now think about it though, shit. I can't remember when Soul Calibur 6 comes out. Google that for me when you get a
End of the
chance.
year, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I can't remember when Soul Calibur 6 comes out. Google that for me when you get a chance. Alright. Today's topics are as follows. Twitch idiocy and how they're handling, well, for lack of a better term, Twitch thoughts, as well as the definition of a Twitch thought. Second topic is licensed gaming, or rather, why fighting game licensed games sell so much higher and better than in almost any other genre in the modern era when it comes to licensed games. Save for a few exceptions, of course. And the final topic is, okay, should Marvel and DC fuse at this point? But we'll go into more details on that later. For topic 1, Pika. Twitch idiocy. It has become virtually impossible for Twitch not to be aware of the manipulation and lies that people are being told to get conned out of their money, for lack of a better term, by virtual con artists, most of which are barely penalized or not penalized in the slightest. Video proof exists of on many corners of YouTube showing women lying to men to manipulate them out of their money or making false promises, as well as selling off parts of their clothing for monetary gain. Now, that being said, these people have a name. The people being victimized, fucking idiots. The people who are causing it, Twitch thoughts. For those of you who don't know, thought, not like you're thinking, no pun intended, is a shorthand term for that hoe over there. A term first coined by some guy no one knows at some point in time on the internet that no one remembers in a video that's on YouTube somewhere I can't find, where he exclaimed out loud, "Be gone, thought," at the presence of what he perceived to be some type of a hoe or slut. I don't really know. I just saw the clip of the dude yelling, "Be gone, thought," and I was dying of laughter. But that's how internet memes are. Sometimes you know where they came from, sometimes you don't. But long story short, what these thoughts are doing is lying about things to the point where they have to try to lie to the people after they're caught to maintain the amount of money that they're making. One person in particular, Alinity, who is actually a Twitch thought, got busted with a copy of her marriage certificate being put online, as well as people showing them what her husband looked like, and her own moderators finding out she lied and not sticking up for her. Oh yeah, did I mention she pulls down over 50 or 60,000 bucks a year doing this shit? Or at least she used to. So yeah, Pika, how do you stop, or how would you stop Twitch thoughts if you own Twitch? And what do you think of Twitch thoughts?
Okay, well, let me get this off my chest first. Alinity's a Twitch thought. Alinity's a Twitch thought. Fuck you, bitch. You ain't copy striking this shit. Fuck you. Alinity's a Twitch thought. Alinity's a Twitch thought. PewDiePie is innocent. Alinity's a Twitch thought. Alright, now, on to the topic of Twitch thoughts and how they're being handled. Twitch did come out with a little Twitch Presents with some of their quote-unquote higher-ups, talking about how they were going to be handling quote-unquote people that wore loose or revealing clothing, and how they were going to be punishing them. That happened quite some time ago, and I haven't really seen, when the rules first went into effect. Yeah, sure, there was a little bit of a change, But now it looks like the leash that they had put on them THOTs over there, that leash seems to have gotten very loose very fast. And it looks like they're back to their pretty much old thoughtish ways. Which is a sad thing, because it's in the genetics of men. If you see a good pair of titties, you want to keep seeing a good pair of titties. You want to see them more. And sometimes they will pay to see them titties. That's how strip clubs thrive. And if they're really,
they're giving
really,
money and not even getting shit in return. That's the fucked up
pretty
part.
much, yeah. And then, if some people can go further as to like, I want to know what she smells like. Boom! Some people sell their clothing. Here you go, creepy little fucks. There's that for you.
She used to sell her panties and socks.
Panties? That sounds like some Japan shit. Socks? But, anyways, my thoughts on Twitch Thoughts are as follows. You now realize that there is an adults-only streaming site for gaming now. You do realize that, right?
I'm curious how you even found that out. Also, this is the first time hearing about it.
Actually, let me open up my internet browser real quick, and let me bring up the link real quick, just a moment.
I'm pretty sure I already know how you found out, but what's it called? Because I've never heard of this shit.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hang on. I'm pretty sure I have it bookmarked. Alright, pretty sure it's bookmarked on my tablet. One moment. So anyways, while I'm looking this up, yeah, this is basically for streamers who either want to stream adult games that have like nudity or something like that in them, or for people who want to play video games but just get like naked while they are doing so. Oh, here it is. It's called Plex Storm. PLEXSTORM. Plexstorm.com. And as I open up the site right now...
No. Okay, look, we're R-rated, but we're not X-rated. I'll take your word for it on existing.
Yeah, it's there.
Continue.
But yes. Basically, this is like a very extremely new, very growing platform, this Plexstorm. There's like barely any people on this, but basically 99% of the people that you see streaming are THOTs. So, if Alinity wanted to, they could probably just like say, like, do one more stream on Twitch saying, hey, you know, I think I'm going to start doing more adult, you know, IRL stuff or more adult theme stuff, and you might be able to see more of me. You know, and just link the Plexstorm site and then make an account.
I remember when shit was simple. Not to interrupt you, but it was, here's a prostitute / whore. Here's an attention whore with no dignity, so they will do things that are prostitute / whore adjacent, but they'll have their own line they won't go past, but they know they're fucked up and just don't want to do something about it or want to try to hide it and get away with as much shit without taking their clothes off. And then there's people who are envious who don't do it, but they're envious and or secretly jealous. I want to say that shit stopped in like 2003. Now we got this shit. The fuck? Like, look, everybody knows how I feel about prostitution. Don't make it legal, but it should be decriminalized. If you decriminalize it, it's easier to catch fucked up people. Because sometimes prostitutes get attacked by murderous psychopaths or rapists or pedophiles and shit like that. Or they get sex trafficked. In fact, it's a very, very high turnover rate, if memory serves, above 80% for female orphans who, once they go into foster care or they hit a certain age, you know, it's almost a guarantee of prostitution. I believe it's in the 80th or 90th percentile. But that being said, first off, that's fucked up. They don't know that they have other options or they have choices. But that's society. If you don't think you got choices and society doesn't show you the choices, I can't really blame you. I can feel sad for you though. But no. These motherfuckers, like, it's like they want everybody else's rewards for shit, but they don't want to put in the fucking effort.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to that with spoiled children, but now hoes? How you want to be a hoe and lazy?
Basically, like, if you want to think about it like old school, you had those peep show booths where you put in a coin or dollar bill, whatever, a little window thing would rise up and you'd see a chick like dancing on a pole naked, and then after a certain amount of time the blind would come back down and you'd have to put more money in to raise it up again if you want to see it again. Basically, this is what Twitch Thoughts is. Basically, in a nutshell.
So how would you fix the problem?
Well, if Twitch would actually enforce the rules that they put into place, we could have cut down on a lot of Twitch thoughts. But then again, that would mean actively keeping an eye out on the IRL section because that is where the thoughts breed and thrive. And unless you get a lot of people to do that, they ain't gonna be doing shit. And then again, of course, they're corrupted because the Twitch thoughts make them more money. And it's like, do we want to lose money because of them? I don't know. Let's let them go for a little bit more until they start getting unpopular. Then we can put the hammer on them. But, oh, if this one's trying to grow up, nope. Snip the little seed out of the ground before it even grows. Oh, goodbye, little mini Twitch thought who would hope to be but never will be.
Now, what would you do to the admins and moderators who help and support these Twitch thoughts be thoughts?
Kick him in the dick.
Okay, let me phrase that. What would you do that's legal if you ran Twitch?
Kick him in the dick.
That's not legal.
I call self-defense.
They would have to assault you, therefore it's still not legal.
They're assaulting my eyes, but they're not acting.
You do realize you could have just said, I would fire them. You're their boss, technically, and they're not doing their job.
Well, yeah, I could fire them, but come on. Who just goes up to someone and says, you're fired nowadays? They have to do everything with flair. Just get that old grudge out in the open before you do it. Gotta have that last little bit of satisfaction.
I've never thought you were a depraved man. Dirty from time to time, but not perverted, at least. Now I'm just confused on how to label you.
As you should be.
Okay, moving on of that awkward ass situation. Licensed games thrive when formatted into a fighting game, as in they sell a higher than average number for licensed games that are non-mobile. With that being said, what do you think the reason is, especially since these games' online communities fade as quickly as they show up?
One moment. Fucking telemarketers. Okay. Alright. So. Would you mind repeating that? Like, as soon as you started talking, the damn phone started ringing. home fun.
Licensed games are thriving when formatted into a fighting game, as in they sell a higher number than traditional licensed non-mobile games do. With that being said, what do you think the reason is, especially since these games' online communities fade as quickly as they come, and oftentimes don't make it to the larger shows on TV, like front stage at Evo, E League, or whatever ESPN's gonna end up doing.
All right. Well, you have your old Street Fighter. It's tried and true. Good
We're
stuff.
talking about shit like Blaze Blue, Cross Tag, Dragon Ball Fighters, blah blah blah. Although we all know the answer for Dragon Ball.
I mean, sooner or later, things have to change. You may not accept it, but there's going to be change. The sooner you accept that there will be change, the better. And people have to move on. So,
I am very confused by your answer.
people's whims are just all over the god. It's like everybody has ADHD nowadays.
Okay, I think I understand what you're trying to say, but no, let me rephrase the question. The question is, why do you think fighting game licensed games sell more than every other licensed game that's not a cell phone game?
Well, because it's not a cell phone game. Yeah, sure, cell phone games are evolving. They're getting more effort put into them. They're looking nicer as phones evolve. But fighting games come out on the big people's consoles, the big people's playfields, the ones where most people pay attention to, even though the fucking world has more phones than game consoles. It's like, hey, you want to play a game? You play it on a console, not your phone. Now, if you want to do something on your phone, you just play a little diddly thing for like 5 minutes while you twiddle your thumbs while you're taking a shit or something. That's all it's good for. That's the mindset right now. That's why these fighting games and other games like this are more popular right now. Now, if there were some way that a company, like a high-up company, like say, your Capcoms or your Namcos, if they just flat out, and I think this would be damn near suicide to a point as far as your stocks are concerned, if they came out and said one day, hey, that next version of the game that you all wanted to see on consoles? Well, we're going to take an alternate route here. We're going to make this next version, and we are going to fine-tune it so that it can also come out on phones and mobile devices. It's going to take a bit longer, while we do that, for everyone to have it at the same time, but hey, think about it. You can cross-play between a console and a phone. How cool would that be? But you're going to need a huge-ass company with a huge set of balls in order to get the cell phone game to step up to console level.
So what's your reasoning for thinking that they sell or they're more popular in fighting game format?
In fighting game format, because fighting games just perform so much better on consoles than phones. The phone is basically a controller. You don't want to put your thumbs all over the controller and the screen, what you're trying to see at the same damn time. That just don't work right. You want to have your controller in your hands, eyes on the screen, nothing blocking the screen. That's just how things have been.
Okay, I get you. Sorry, zoned out a little bit. Alright. Definitely like that answer. Now, our final one Should they fuse? Much like Chris Brown and Rihanna. Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. James Brown and whatever his wife's name was, who I don't know, I'm sorry.
I was about to say, those first two examples, that would be fusions of fists in the faces, but continue.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that was kind of the point. Those are examples of abusive relationships. They have ups, they have downs. However, when in the world of Marvel and DC, it's weird. They will hire the same people to do the same job, one after the other. And for decades, if not years, there have been people that have made claims that, oh, you're never going to get another Marvel and DC fusion comic or fusion reality because both the companies hate each other so much or too much or blah, 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 blah. Well, now, for the past, I want to say 15-ish months, DC's been making heroes that are blatant rip-offs of Marvel's most popular characters. There is now a Marvel version of the following characters: Spider-Man, Black Panther, the Fantastic Four. No, that's more of a team ripoff. The Hulk, and I can't remember the last one. Oh yeah, the symbiotes. I think Venom or some form of a Venom, or at least Wolverine. My question to you is, at this point, wouldn't it just make more sense, instead of keep trying to copy each other back and forth and somehow not being penalized or punished for it, fuse together? Why or why not?
It's not a matter of why not. It's a matter of when. Because this back and forth about, oh, this character got made first on this brand, and then the other brand rips off the first brand and tries to make it better. They're trying to do a one-up on each other. This is blatantly obvious. Now, the reason behind trying to one-up each other is they want to get to that point where they can say, hey, we're making more money than you, we're selling more copies than you. I think it's time for you to throw in the towel. The thing is, these two companies are so damn stubborn that it's going to need to take like a landslide of difference between the two for one to actually throw in the towel and say, alright, you got me, let's combine. And until that happens, they're just going to keep trying to one-up each other and rip off each other's characters in a never-ending fucking quest to figure out who comes out on top.
Yeah, that's pretty Bobby Whitney right there. Or rather, Chris Brown and Rihanna, because, you know, they both had better careers.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, did you know that there was a Marvel and DC comic?
A Marvel and DC crossover?
Yeah, but it wasn't just like a one-time thing. It was like for almost a whole entire year straight.
Honestly, I don't pay much attention to the comic scene at all.
Bruh,
I just know
like
that
95.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's what 95. How fucking old? I was almost 10 back in 95. Let's see here, that would have been like 4th grade.
Basically how it worked was Marvel made a comic, DC made a comic that basically stated that, you know, it was a setup to why their worlds were interloping with one another, or their dimensions at least. Now, the heroes go through the story, but also, as halfway through the story, the two people causing the shit fused the realities together. So they made heroes that only existed in that space. They fused Wonder Woman and Storm, for example, and Wolverine, and you guessed it, Batman. And they had new names and new backgrounds that were a fusion of the two shit, you know? Yeah, you should look into it. It's still able to be bought and sold, but, you know, I don't know, man. It's just, I'd like to say this is why we can't have nice things, but the problem is we haven't been given the why. Now, with that being said, I guess it's my turn to go through them shits. First off, in case you were wondering why L1 Pikamitsu said over and over again, fuck you, Alinity, you can't copyright strike this, fuck you, Alinity, is because Pikamitsu has very little respect for a Twitch thought by the name of Alinity, being, for lack of a better term, the queen of hoes who don't take off their clothes. Besides, if memory serves, buying fake tits, even though she had real big ones initially, allegedly. Just gonna put that out there. This scumbag spent years lying about her martial status and purposely manipulating and milking money out of people. Not just because dirty old pervert is dirty old pervert, but also just nice people, including her own moderation team. One of these conversations, which L of the day, shout outs to that guy for being an adult about the situation, he just pointed shit out. He said he was depressed and disgusted, but, you know, he didn't openly attack her. He exposed her. But, you know, idiots will say an expose is also an attack. Like, no, it's a revelation of information. An attack is trying to smear her name on purpose. No. She didn't need any help doing that. And it basically said, hey, you have a marriage license? Why did you lie to me about this? I've given you over like $3,000 or $4,000. I started laughing at that point. I was laughing, so I had to pause the rest of the shit so I could go back and read it. But once I recovered and found my ass that I had laughed off and reattached it, she basically said, what, I'm not allowed to have a private life? I was like, that's not the problem. The problem is you sat up here and lied, said none of this was a thing. If you didn't want to tell people, then you could have just said no comment. A lot of people do that. And she couldn't think of anything. And if memory serves, she's lost 2 more moderators since then. And instead of owning up or explaining her shit, she just gets people to ban. She just gets switched to ban people who bring up, hey, so why did you say in this video right here you don't have anybody, and then in the very next video, you know, or but even though there's this link to your marriage license online, blah 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 blah, and getting people banned and stuff who genuinely didn't do shit. And well, she's not the most notorious Twitch thought. She's just the most popular because she was brought up to the world stage by Felix, because I'm not going to say his other name. But L of the day just multiplied it hard by actually going through official information with links and pictures and screen caps. Personally, just on a side note, I don't have children. I have godchildren. I have nieces and great nieces and great nephews and shit. If you making $40,000 to $50,000 to $60,000 a year off of manipulating people and lying to them, you don't disgust me. You depress and disgust me, and I pray that we're not biologically related.
And you should go get a government job.
Ah, damn. Actually, that makes me kind of curious. I honestly wonder what a lot of these thoughts, hoes, and sluts would do if either, you know, they weren't nymphomaniacs or they had better sexual control or dignity, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I always wonder in the back of my head when I see somebody doing something that's potentially dangerous, or what could they be doing better or that's more secure with their lives. Like, I think that anytime I see a stunt double, I think anytime I see porn stars, I think anytime I see prostitutes, like, what could you might be the person that helps create and usher in a child or an offspring ancestor who creates interstellar space travel. But nah, you just sucking dick for about $20 a pop. because you don't want to put in effort. And this shit looks easy. Mind you, let me just say right now, that's not every prostitute and hoe and thought. I understand that. But this is just a very, not sensitive, but unusual and fucked up story. Not to mention the moral compass seems to be, well, let's be honest, her moral compass seems to be non-existent. Anyways, fucking, I'm just disgusted by her. Sometimes I feel sorry for the dudes. Well, I mean, I don't really know how to talk to girls. I'm scared of women. I mean, at least I can be nice to her because I'm only talking to her in her via a text. Some people probably ain't looking for ass. They just genuinely wanted to help her. And they getting fucked like this without getting fucked. You know? Hold on. Might have a late entry. Okay, yeah. We might have a late entry, so I was talking to him. But, yeah, like, this is why I've been saying the good guy finishing last isn't a feeling. It's the truth when you stick a good guy with a bad girl. I bet you, maybe 20-ish% of them dudes there, they just genuinely bad with talking to women, and they just wanted to help and support her because they thought she was a nice thought or nice person. Like, they weren't looking for ass, or they knew that they had zero chance. Those are the dudes I feel the most sorry for. But as far as rectifying the problem, it's very simple. First and foremost, fire all the motherfuckers that sent her correspondence letting her know, hey, you need to alter what you're doing so you can get away with shit that you've done. Fire them. Period. Make it a public execution too. So other companies that might have a similar situation or issue won't hire them motherfuckers either. But the second thing I would do, straight up ban these hoes and thoughts and just manipulators. Put in the terms of service from this point here forth, people who lie about their martial status for manipulation purposes and to gain money through immoral immoral means or values that do not coexist with the Twitch moral code or philosophy, something that's just not written. We can fucking ban you and we'll tell you why. That's all they got to do. And then you know what? They can go and still get people on the back end of things. Because remember, their job is to find these people, period. So it doesn't matter when they broke the rules. They can just say, hey, they broke them. Well, these rules didn't exist then. You weren't clear. Oh, well, sorry about that. Well, good. Look at it this way. Look how long you got away with this shit. Fuck you. Have a nice day. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do. That being said, we do have a late entry. Of course, me have my military background. Some of our previous cast members have shipped out. So they're always in a perpetual state of coming in, chilling, and then going back out. And occasionally we can get them from far overseas. One of those people being a staple / legend of the podcast, the original, aka Bird Baby, one Romulus Hill. What's good?
Ain't nothing much, just gotta make my celebrity guest appearance now and again. How y'all doing?
For those of you who don't know or can't remember, Hill's been away because he recently got reshipped out to South Korea, I believe.
Correct.
That seafood on point, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, just to get you a little bit caught up, we're going through topics 1, 3, and 4. We're skipping topic 2. And I just finished doing my topic 1. So, do you want more time or you think you good? You want to get in this?
More time, because you kind of put a lot of chunk into topic 1. I'm trying to process that.
Hoes manipulating money out of men, lying about their martial status, and making more money than both your parents combined in 1 year, and then they get mad when they get caught. AKA Twitch thoughts. Hey,
I don't love them hoes.
Snoop said that in 94, and the words are still true.
And the question is, how would I handle this?
Yes, how would you get rid of them, and how would you punish the idiots letting them get away with this shit in the company? All right, moving on to topic 2. Well, it's my turn, so you can go after me. Licensed games thrive when formatted into a fighting game, as in they sell higher numbers than traditional licensed non-mobile games do. With that being said, what do you think the reason is, especially since their online communities fade as quickly as they came, and oftentimes don't make it to larger shows or venues on television like Evo and, ESPN 2 and 3. Yeah, the games exist, but, fucking, they're not going to be televised. Or they're not considered the
Speaking of, I almost
5.
forgot.
What's up?
Sorry. The Overwatch League's playoffs are actually being shown on TV, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Disney XD and one of the channels of
ESPN 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to answer the question, I think the main reason that the fighting games licensing is so common isn't because, fighting games have a big following. In fact, most fighting gamers don't actually, if they buy a licensed property fighting game that's not Dragon Ball, of course, because Dragon Ball is exempt from this at this point, it's because they don't know for sure if somebody caught lightning in a bottle and it's going to make it to the mainstream, or they could genuinely like the cartoon show that it's based around. So, what can happen is, they get online, they can't find competition, or the most people bought it, they bought it just to stare at the characters, or they bought it because they like the franchise, even though they're not going to put in more than maybe 10 hours in the entire game total. They're not playing professionally. They may or may not have friends that play the game. So they have low incentive to play the games by themselves, or to go in the lab and to train and to work or rank up. Can't blame them. Although it is just kind of dumb to me to buy a game for the express purpose of staring at it and watching it collect dust. It just seems dumb to me. But I acknowledge that, companies get their money like that sometimes. So that's why I think that they're bought and fade, because one, they're cheap to make. Because most of the fighting games that are licensed, they still use a traditional 2-dimensional plane of axis. So even if they're 3D models, they're only moving in 3 directions, left, right, and up. That's pretty much it. Now, as far as fucking why I think, what was it? Shit, I lost my place. Why I think they don't make it to the larger shows? Oh, that's very simple. Because there's something easy to abuse, or they have a low level of patching. So naturally, exploits are found before the games can even have a chance to pop off or rise in popularity. And the fighting community says, fuck it. You flavor of the month, or you're predicted to be flavor of the month. But if you stop thinking about it, they're rarely wrong about that shit. They're rarely wrong. Moving on. Should they fuse? In recent times, as in 2017 to now, DC has created almost half a dozen heroes who are copies of Marvel heroes and are receiving no backlash from this decision. Do you think they should just stop playing enemies at this point and finally merge into one company? Why or why not? Well, I mean, that's a toughie. That brings forth a lot of philosophical questions. But man, fuck that shit. Just do it. Fucking do it. They already did it back in the 90s. They had a whole series that ran for like, I think, half a year, where the Marvel and DC characters were fighting each other. Then, of course, once they're done with that, they combined together to go fight some enemy. Not to mention, they had an entire fucking month where all their characters had fused with each other to create brand new heroes that we haven't seen since. And don't even really know who owns the licensing to, and they haven't even been in video games since then. They fused Wonder Woman and fucking Storm together. It was a black chick for the record. But they fused them together. You don't even have to get rid of the old shit. Do what Marvel does. Give it a number and say this is that dimension. What's Marvel's prime dimension where most of the stories come out of and all the canon? Marvel 616. Everything else, not Marvel 616. So they can do what the fuck they want with it. DC got a bunch of fucking alternate heroes or alternate versions of the same couple of heroes. Fuck that. Make new people. Marvel does it all the time. Or they make a new hero but give them the old moniker or title of somebody else and keep the other person and put them in a new position. Basically give them a promotion. They can still have the Marvel stories. They can still have the DC line of stories. But then they got one dimension, push to talk please, but then they got one dimension where, oh, here's their few storylines. It's not like it's impossible. There was a comic that happened where literally Superman became the Herald of Galactus. Like the Fantastic Four knew who he was, and the motherfucker just became a Herald of Galactus. It's not like they haven't worked together before. Just fucking do it. Don't make me Shia LaBeouf, you goddammit. Or is it LeBeau? I'm never really sure with him. Alright. You about ready, Hill?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and try to knock out topic 1.
Alright, so for topic 1, remove them from the premises and then have backplay plus tax. Because I'm not sure how much Twitch actually has the sales tax on this income. Yeah, I'm not even sure if any streaming side is taxable income, but for this...
To my knowledge, how they normally set it up is the Twitch subscription, which is a monthly fee, they get a kickback from that. But everything else goes to the Twitch streamer.
Yeah, I know, because clearly they're lying about their own marital status, which I know their own life is taxable, so add that as a proper income to be taxed and calculate how much they've made for how long they've been doing it and give a proper tax. And if they can't pay that back, SOL, send your ass to jail to pay that shit back. Because clearly you're lying about your entire income.
Yeah, that is actually a felony. When you do your taxes, there is a section in the 1040s, I forgot which one, that asks you, are you receiving donations? Or did you give donations? And we all know these fucking streamers are lying. Well, not all of them. Let me rephrase that. We all know the asshole streamers are lying about, oh, I only use my donations to go towards this stream. That bitch Alinity straight up said that, oh, thanks. With your donation, I can use this to, help pay that for that new Audi I want. There is nothing to do with your stream that involves a fucking Audi. In fact, Twitch bans people for streaming when they're in a fucking car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now what would you do to the idiots in your company, Twitch, or any other live streaming service that are actually helping these assholes get away with shit?
Let's see. First, I'd have to find the people who work under me and subscribe to her and just let this shit happen. And try to convince their boys, like, hey, if you watch her, she'll show some tits or some stupid shit. Like, all right, you're fired, and then you need to pay a % back for letting her just get away with this. Now, the people who are just letting it happen but don't try to get anything beneficial about it and just think it's okay, I won't fire them, but I will give them, no pay for a little bit. So it's like, hey, for an incentive of you not letting this happen again.
Now, you want to know what Pikamitsu said?
What up?
Kick him in the dick. Like, he wouldn't come away from it. I said, you're the boss, you can fire them. No, they must be kicked in the dick.
Alright. So that for that one. Now topic 3, I'd say it's hard for newer fighting games to come into the threshold of the limelight because they got a lot of titans they have to catch up to. Because when you bring up Evo and PAX and games that have been there consistently, Smash Bros, Tekken, Street Fighter, and maybe Soul Calibur if it's lucky. So it's like you have your confirmed kills of what's going to be in these events. And so when creating a fighting game, you have to make something that goes to those leagues of games or beyond it, like with Dragon Ball Z Fighters, because I think this is one of the first times Marvel vs. Capcom wasn't at Evo because Fighters met up to those standards. Also, even with games like, how do you bring up, they love the cartoon so they'll buy the game, but it doesn't like match what the cartoon or like the shit was about, like with fucking JoJo, All-Star Battle, and Eyes of Heaven. You would think how big the JoJo fucking fandom is, they would be large enough to put these games in a higher setting. However, it is not as stand-like as they want it to be. So it's just like, they have the game they want, but it's not done in the style they want. And then, I'm not sure how popular this new Ruby cross-tag battle shit is, or Blaze Blue, Persona. I can't think of what the third game is, and Ruby shit popularity is. It may have a shot because it is like combining a lot of fandoms together, but I don't know if it's gonna be on that level of Fighters. That's why I say a lot of these new games haven't been streamed, because you have to reach the pinnacle of where these guys are, and I don't know if they're gonna have another That Ain't Falco type stream or another Moment 37 type stream. And then last but not least, number 4. I think they should fuse because of all the other times they've fused in other continuities with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the fucking Power Rangers. Like, they've done just like random shit before. Like, what's so hard about doing it again?
Thank you. Literally just make one comic where everybody coexists. Also, I do have that Power Rangers Justice League crossover comic. It's good. It's really good.
Awesome. So I'm just saying, if you're worried about how the waters are gonna taste or be, throw it out there. Throw out like a couple, like 100,000 limited comic copies, and see how fast those are ate up. And once people start begging for more, start hashing it out and making that dough. Easy.
Yeah, like, I can't think of an excuse. Also, just to give you more perspective, because I mean, she's like Queen Twitch thought at this point. The 2 videos I just dropped for you, one is of her people calling to get her deported from Canada. Okay, so peep this shit. She married a dude that cheated on her when he was her fiance, or so she claims. No one's actually found this dude. And supposedly, she decided, oh, well, I'm just going to get married with him until I get into Canada and then divorce him. So like the smart person she is, and oh, she's a real genius, she says this on a Twitch live stream. So you know what immediately happened. People clipped it, then they recorded it, and then it just stayed online. Then Ella the Day found it. Now I don't know what you know about Ella the Day, but He's starting to become the internet's hero. L of the Day basically does exposés, but he only does exposés with proof. So he exposed her for basically being a Twitch thought. And she tried to pick a fight with Felix, also known as, you know, the pewdie guy. I'm not saying that full thing. And it failed. But of course, you know, she's still being harassed, so she wants to blame everything on him. But
The
then he
copyright
said,
strike
yeah,
bullshit.
which is total bullshit, because first off, there was none copyrighted material. Secondly, copyright laws do protect analysis and critiquing. So him talking about a video and showing the video is protected by law. But then he found out she was being harassed, and look, I'm sorry you're getting harassed. I didn't mean for that to happen. He really shouldn't be apologizing, but he didn't know that at the time. Then after that, he saw her, oh yeah, I manipulate the system to sneak into Canada and all this other dumb shit. And he's like, man, she need to be deported. And you know what happens when Pew actually get mad at somebody who deserves it? The whole internet gets behind him, even though he's a fuck up himself, but less of a fuck up. So yeah, I dropped those videos there. They're good for a laugh. If nothing else. Now, that being said, anybody got anything they want to add?
Good luck to the fighting game community in the future. Soul Calibur 6 coming out, and that's going to be a hard ass shit to topple. Because that's where all my money's going.
Yeah, I put in about 4 hours of it at E3. It is safe to say it's actually good. Oh, and they remembered to bring back Chronicle mode.
That what was that mode?
Chronicle mode, the little fake story mode. Also, the combat system is different, but not in a bad way. They basically devoted a button to help you get armor breaks, but it's a very specific action, and you can't alter it. Your soul charge can now do a pushback, so you can use it defensively. And when you do soul charge, you're in a soul charge mode. So it's not just a soul charge for one attack. It's until your meter burns out. So basically, soul charge is now V-trigger. Except it adds more abilities to all of your moves. Not just 2 or 3 moves get unblockable properties now. Which is really fucking epic. Oh, and Gerald is OP. That needs to be mentioned. I don't think I lost with him, which is saying something, because besides that being my first time playing him, he doesn't play like anybody the fuck else. And no one beat me. 12-0. 12 and fucking 0.
Is the game throw to win like Soul Calibur 5?
Is the game what?
Throw to win, because in Soul Calibur 5 you can basically throw somebody twice and combo them for the rest of the match.
Oh yeah, they fixed that shit. And you know they got a full roster, no bullshit going down. You might not see every character ever, but the staples will be there and represented. And it's not an incomplete piece of shit game that they just put out anyway, like they did with 5. Oh, and they will actually remember to patch the shit if something's broken. Oh, and everyone has a super combo now. But, you know, it doesn't take literally 2 of your 3 matches to pull off. You just need to fill up your soul charge gauge. And before it burns out, you can either use it to enhance all of your attacks and even give some of them guard break properties, or you could burn it out and say fuck it and do your super. Or you could do like half of your super meter and then use the other half as a super combo. So you got legitimate options. Guard impact is slightly different. Rather, it's easier to pull off, but it creates different effects. And the combo system is still the same for the most part. It's just they made use of the shoulder buttons. Other than here's the throw button, here's the block button. So they simplified some of the more technical aspects, but they didn't get rid of them. And everybody has a super mode. Be careful though with Kilik. You might not want to use his because he transformed into his evil state, which was only told about in story mode for all the games and you never actually saw. So that's a nice touch. But here's the thing. He loses HP the whole entire time you're in that mode. So you might not want to do his, or if you do his, do it for the sole purpose of doing your super attack. Also, don't try to link your super attack after you do a soul charge. The pushback is defensive to keep your opponent off you, but it also protects them from you instantly popping a super without any ramifications. Also, I can't prove it, but for the most part, Taki's shit beats out everybody because she instantly teleports and become undetectable. So if Taki pops her shit, you need to get the fuck away or try to sidestep it. Pro tip. Oh, and they got the original voice actors back. Which, you know, is saying something because they didn't call none of those motherfuckers for Soul Calibur 5. Taki is voiced again by Wendy Lee, a.k.a. Yoroichi from Bleach, a.k.a. Faye from Cowboy Bebop. Jean Qua, same person, so same actor. Yeah, all the characters that were missing got their original voice actors back, I think, except for Kilik. I think Kilik has a new person, or the audio quality is just so much more improved, he sounds audibly different. Just because of the clarity. Mitsurugi's special. I think it's the same guy, but he's using a different vocal inflection. But at the same time, Soul Calibur 5 Mitsurugi was a different person, if memory serves. I know Ivy's voice is different, but it's Ivy. I don't really play her that much, so I don't give a shit. And for the first time ever, I think I might actually be playing Talum. Because Talum's has some cool shit that she didn't have before just because of the gameplay system. She has a guard break counter parry now. And I think she's like the only character in the game with it. She can deflect an attack, somehow turn it into a wind bomb, and shoot it at you like a Hadouken, which blows you back. So imagine you're on a ledge. You don't know what the fuck to do. If you grab, she can break the grab, you still where you are. If you hit her, she can take your hit and then Shinku Hadouken you off the stage. I'll show you the trailer for it later. With that being said, this has been another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I hope you guys make sure you watch the final credit scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I will see you guys when I see you guys.